What's up? What's happening? How you doing? Look, Manny's in the house. Hola, amigo, Larry and crew. Pink
And crew?
Floyd. Yeah,
I'm just a crew now.
Yeah, Manny, you should never have said that. You
Just a
should
crew.
never have said that.
Just a crew. All right.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just the crew.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Moving on.
So, welcome to today's brag show. Be rich and generous. Thank you guys very much for watching. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you. I got a thing up here where we can see like comments and stuff somewhere. Oh, there we are. We're live up here. Look.
Oh, look, your stamp on my hand showed up. Perfect.
Yeah, Thank you. I got a thing up here where we can see. There we go. Hello from Chicago. Elaine, awesome. Thank you so much for being on. Awesome. Excellent.
Yeah, we didn't get to do this show last week. We were in Nevada.
Why don't you tell them where we were?
We were in Nevada.
Why don't you tell them what we were doing?
So, in Nevada, there's this phenomenal firearm training institute. It's called Front Sight. And the level of training out there, the guys out there, like the range masters and the support staff that they've got, and level 1s, level 2s. What else do we have? Level 3s, line coaches. They are phenomenal. I am a person who was not afraid of guns. We've had guns in our house. Matt and I have guns in our house right now. I know how to operate a gun, but I didn't know how to run a gun. And I told the class out there, and I told our staff here when we got back that we grew up in, I grew up in the country. So my firearm training when I was growing up was, here's a BB gun, here's a 22, don't shoot your brother, that type of thing. That is, that's what I got.
That was your training.
That was my training.
There you go. Don't shoot your brother.
Don't shoot your brother. Go have fun.
Obviously, it worked. He's still around.
Yeah, don't shoot your brother. Oh, and there was one other rule. Don't shoot anything else that you're not willing to eat. Right? So
how to run a gun. What does that even mean? Kenny said that. How to run a gun.
Run a gun. That's the verbiage they use. So we learned and running a gun means keep it in working order, right? Doing chamber checks, magazine checks, making sure you know how to do tactical reloads, emergency reloads. It was a self-defense handgun training class, and it was absolutely phenomenal. We shot guns for 9 hours a day for 4 days. Some of it was classroom instruction. We would have like a 20-minute lecture on how to do what we were getting ready to do. They would do a demo. They would put us up on the line to do it. Phenomenal. So good. We learned how to dry fire. I think one of the most impressive things that I learned is I always thought, and with the BB guns that we had, the CO2 BB guns, you put your finger on the trigger and pull, it's shooting. But with an actual like 9mm that I was shooting with out there, there's slack on the trigger. And to be able to take the slack out, to be ready for your shot, stay on the front sight, and finish out the view after that shot to do a second one or decide not to shoot that was one of my biggest takeaways.
Listen at her talking like a pro.
I know, it's
Stay
so
on the
exciting.
Front sight, pull out the slack, take a nice clean dry press. Right?
And we did establish that I have a quicker draw than Larry Goins.
That is true. We did some competition and where we had to pull our gun out of the holster, and we had to load it, get a magazine off our support side, load it, rack it, and shoot.
3 targets.
We had to shoot a headshot where somebody was holding somebody hostage.
You couldn't shoot the hostage.
Right, you couldn't shoot the hostage. And then you had to shoot 2 other people that were 18 yards away.
2 other body style, torso style targets.
Right. So Kandas beat me to the draw.
I beat the draw. I got the first shot off.
But I hit the targets.
Hit quicker than me. I lost by time alone. That's what I lost by. Time alone.
That's true. But her husband, Matt, Kandas's husband, Matt, he did awesome. Out of 30 people, he was second in the entire competition going through teams.
It came down to him and one other guy.
Right. Absolutely.
Sure did.
He did awesome. But my cousin Dwayne's on. That's awesome. What's up, buddy?
What does that even mean?
What is that? That's what Kenny said.
Kandas lingo. Just go with it, Kenny. Why you gotta question me?
That's funny. But it was really good. If you get a chance, go to frontsight.com. We were there for what was called the 4-day defensive handgun training. We even had to go clear a house. right?
That's right.
They had you go in, like say somebody's in the house, got your kids or your spouse or whatever. We had to go in and clear the house, right? Go from room to room, clearing the house, shooting the bad guys, not shoot the good people.
That's right.
So it was really good. It was a learning experience. I grew up around guns. I thought I knew a lot about guns, but they actually said at the end of the 4 days, that training that we took and the test we had to pass.
We had to pass the test.
We had to go through a test, and it was at 3, 5, 7, 10, and 15 yards, and we were timed. We also had to do tactical reloads. We had to fix malfunctions in a specific amount of time.
3 different types of malfunctions.
Right. So we had to do all that in a time frame, and we were timed on it. And they said that we had more training after those 4 days than 90% of law enforcement has.
How scary is that?
I know, right? That is. So I guess there's a lot of small towns or whatever that they maybe don't have in their budget to go through training or whatever. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
But anyway, it was really good experience. So much for that.
That's where we were last week.
That's why we weren't on. We were out in the middle of the desert with no cell service.
No cell service, hardly any, and definitely no internet service while we were on the range. And then you're so exhausted.
Sorry.
What's going on right now?
I have my foot back here.
Then you're so exhausted by the time you get home because you're in the desert. It's hot. You got on camo pants, like not camo pants, cargo pants. It's hot. And you're in the sun all day. We were completely exhausted. All 4 of us were. Frank went with us. And
my cousin.
Yeah. Completely exhausted at the end of the day, and then you just wake up the next day and do it again. Highly recommend it.
It was a lot of fun, wasn't it? We're going back. It's going to be an annual thing.
It will be an annual thing. Yep.
We're going back.
So on to real estate now, since we're back in the office and back at the grind. Even our call this morning, we did a call for one of our mastermind groups where we were hosted this morning, and Sean had a really good point on there that when you're doing what you love, it doesn't always feel like work. Yes, we're in the grind. Yes, we're in the trenches all day, every day. We're on the phone. Larry had over 3 hours of talk time yesterday by himself.
Really?
Yeah. You had 3 hours and 10 minutes.
That's a lot.
It was a lot.
And then I went to a RIA meeting last night.
Yeah, so we're in the grind, back at it, and I think last week kind of gave us a little bit of a renewed energy to come back to have that break.
I think you're right.
And but we're back at it. So with that, if you guys want to watch any past episodes or anything like that, you can go to bragradio.com. They're all uploaded there for the last, 8 months or so? 8 months or so now. They've been on Facebook, so you can go back and watch those. If you don't have an investor's kit, you can call 877-LARRY-GO. I was going to hit the button. 877-LARRY-GO, and Zenobia can help you out with getting that investor's kit. It's got digital copies of the real estate day trading book, HUD Homes Half Off book, some of our DVDs and things like that on our investing models. So get that.
Awesome. And please share this. Please share this right now. You're on Facebook right now. Just click the share button, and someone is going to win one of these real estate day trading jumpstart. Right? Matt's in the house. What's going on, gunslinger? I love it.
Did we not just get off the call with you? Did you not have enough of us already today?
So please share. We're going to pick a winner next week to win the real estate day trading and jumpstart. And if you call Zenobia, she's going to send you this.
Digital copies.
Digital copies, yes. Yeah, we're even going to pay for the email.
We will pay for the email. Unless you have one of those, pay an extra 5 cents to have it delivered to my inbox. I'm not doing that.
Exactly.
I'll pay the regular fee from our provider to send it to you. Anyway.
Okay, so what I want to talk about today is a lot of people that are wholesaling, they only look at analyzing deals one way, right? One way. And that way is the ARV times 0.7 minus repairs minus what you want to make equals your MAO, as a lot of people call it, maximum allowable offer, right? So that's one way to do it. You take ARV, after repaired value, times 0.7, 70%. Let's keep it simple. let's say ARV is 100,000, right? 70% is 70,000. Let's say it needs 10 in work. Now you're down to 60. Let's say you want to make 10. Now you're down to 50. So if you offer 50, you can sell it for 60. Your buyer puts 10 in it. They'll be in it at 70 and it's worth 100. Pretty simple, right? That's just one way to analyze a deal, right?
That's typically the quickest. And if you don't have to have a calculator to do that and you're under your maximum offer, you're pretty good. Even if when you determine your maximum offer, in that case was 50, that's the max offer. You don't ever want to start there.
Exactly. So another way I like to analyze deals is if it has a tenant in it, because I know if it has a tenant in it, I need to sell it to a landlord, right? I want to sell that property as close as I can to where rents are 2% per month, 2% per month, right? So what does that mean? That means if rents are $500 a month, $500 is 2% of 25,000, right?
25,000.
25,000. So if rents are $1,000 a month, right? That's 2% of 50,000. Now I'll be the first one to tell you on the higher priced properties, that's much, much, much more difficult to do. And people don't expect 2% a month on the higher priced stuff.
Right.
Right? But we buy a lot of houses for $10, $15, $20, $30,000. In fact, most of our houses, I would say, are between 15 and 30 or 40,000.
I would say, 15 to 35. Yep.
But the cool thing is, if we buy a house for 10, we're going to sell it for 20. If we buy it for 15, we typically sell it for 30. If we buy it for 20, a lot of times we sell it for 40. We even buy a lot for 25 and sell it for 50.
Right. Very common. So
to double our money on what we're now. Having said that, if you're buying a house for 25 grand and you're selling it for 49.9, 50,000, you probably need to close on it and resell that deal, right? In other words, if you do an assignment and your seller sees, well, I'm getting 25,000, but you're getting 25,000, right? So you're probably going to need to close on it and resell the property, depending on who your seller is, depending on the relationship, and also depending on where they are.
And I think we did a show 2 or 3 shows ago that talks about when to double close and when to assign. I'm pretty sure that was a show topic not too long ago where we talked about different things that could happen and when you would want to double close versus assign.
I believe you're right. I believe we did. That's good. That's good. All right. So that is the second way that we analyze rental properties. In fact, when I'm on the phone with the seller, and I did this just this morning, when I'm on the phone with the seller, if the property is rented out, I say, well, rental properties are really based on the income. That's all it's based on is the income. You might be able to get more out of it if you kick the tenant out and go in there and fix it up. But as a rental property, it's based on the income, and they're selling to where rents are 2% per month. So if yours is rented out for $400, I can give you $20,000 for it. It's that simple. It really is.
And if you're looking at a property that's already rented, I don't know why you would want to kick the tenant out just to do repairs when it's perfectly livable. There's not any issues with the current tenant or whatnot. Just wait till they move out, then do your repairs and rent it out for more if you need to.
Well, and that's what I tell the seller, because I want the seller to realize that, okay, this is what it's worth right now. But if I want to get more, I got to kick the tenant out. And then it needs paint, carpet, repairs, maintenance, all that stuff that's got to be upfitted. And then I got to try to list it, right? So if as is right now, if you want a quick cash offer and I'll pay all closing costs, I can give you where rents are 2% per month. Okay. So that's the second way to analyze deals. You got the ARV, the after repaired value, and you have the rental income. Right. Okay. Now, if it's a really low price property, all right, if it's a really low price property, I'm going to subtract repairs out. I'm going to say rents are 2% minus repairs, right? So if it's rented out for $400 a month, then I could pay you $20,000 minus about $5,000 in repairs, right? If the repairs are about $5,000,
yeah,
right?
Only if they are.
I'll
the
pay
only
you
way it works is if they are.
Now we're buying a lot of properties that are rented for $350, $450, right. $550, $600 a month, and we're paying $15,000, $20,000 for them. So we turn around and sell them at a higher price and make $10,000 or $15,000 per deal. And it's a great deal for the landlord, great deal for us. Get on our buyers list, investorsrehab.com, right? So you'll see some of the deals that we're selling and how cheap we're actually selling them, right? So the third way that we analyze deals is wholetailing, right? Wholetailing. It's not wholesaling and it's not retailing. If we have a house that's vacant, okay, or maybe the owner lives in it, but they're going to be moving out, but it's a decent kind of house where it's not specifically a rental type of house, okay, not specifically a rental house, but it's a house that maybe has an after repaired value of say 89.9 or 99.9 or even 79.9, right?
Right.
Instead of selling that property at $30,000 or $40,000, we could sell that property for 59.9, 49.9, whatever, right? So we could sell it instead of the ARV times 0.7, we could really sell it ARV times about 0.8 or 0.85, right? Put some lipstick on it. There you go, Manny. That's good. Put some lipstick on it. Right? Now, we don't do any of that. But we tell our buyers, it's an easy in and out, right?
That's a common phrase. It drives me nuts, but that's a common phrase.
Easy in and out, right? Paint carpet and you're done. So anyway, that's a wholesale deal. And we did a wholesale deal just, I believe it was last month. We bought a house for $50,000 and we sold it for $89.9. Wholesale, right? And it was a little brick ranch house on a couple of acres, and we wholesale that deal. We put it on the MLS. Now it ended up selling from one of our signs, I believe, but we did put it on the MLS. But we sold it for $89.9, right? Let's see. Darren's saying something. You can look at that. So while I'm going over the fourth way, right? Now, the fourth way is actually a really, really cool way that not a lot of people think about, but you need to put a little Post-it note up of these 4 different ways on your screen, so every time you get on the phone with somebody and you're researching on the computer, so that way you don't forget it. But if you're too far apart on the price, and I'll be the first one to admit, I forget it too, okay? I do forget it sometimes. So the last way is seller financing, okay?
And we've done this with a few deals in the last 6 months.
Right. We have. So what will happen is if you can't come together on the price, you start pitching seller financing to them, right? You say, well, what are you going to do with the money? Well, I'm just going to put it in the bank. Okay. Well, if you're going to put it in the bank, what kind of interest rates are the banks paying now? They're paying 1%. Well, here's the thought. If you sell this property that you've had, as a rental for a long time, and you've depreciated it down, you're going to have a lot of capital gains, right? So that's taxes.
Right.
If I pay you $20,000 for the house, and if I pay you $20,000 cash, you might owe $5,000 in taxes. But if I can pay you what you want, $30,000, but you finance it for me, now you still have cash flow. You don't have to deal with tenants, trash, termites, and toilets. And the buyer, me or whoever I sell it to, is going to take care of repairs, insurance, taxes, maintenance, all that stuff, right? And you still get cash flow, but you don't have to deal with the tenants. And it saves you money in taxes, right? Saves you money in taxes. So let's just figure out what a payment would be. And then I just get out my financial calculator and I figure out what a payment would be. And I don't even talk about a down payment. Never, ever, ever mention a down payment. I don't buy a house with a down payment, right? If I do, if they're very adamant about selling with a down payment, here's another way you can structure it. You say, look, I'm not going to keep this house, okay? My model is to buy properties and sell it. So here's what I'm going to do. When I do sell it, it may be immediately, it may be a couple of weeks, it may be a few months, right? But when I do sell it, what I'm going to do is whatever down payment I get, I'm going to give you half of the down payment, okay? We've got a mobile home park we're doing that with right now, where I negotiated financing, right? 100% seller financing. But I told them, and they wanted a little something down. I said, the only way I can give you something down is whenever I sell it, I'll give you half of what I get, right? I'll give you half of what I get down, right? So, yeah, Manny says, look at doing a wraparound. I don't want to do a wraparound because I want to be out of the deal. I want to take my money and run.
We
right?
don't want to have an ongoing relationship with the seller or the new buyer. That's in any real estate transaction, honestly. We want to be in and out. That's why most of our real estate deals are on assignment instead of a double close, unless needed in the ways that you'll see when you watch a previous show.
I misread what Manny said. He said, what is a wraparound mortgage? If I got seller financing from my seller, let's say I bought the house for $30,000, no money down, but I went and sold it for $40,000 and I got $5,000 down. So now my buyer owes me $35,000. I owe my seller $30,000. I could do a wraparound mortgage.
What is
right?
happening to you? I don't wear
allergies.
perfume. I have no idea what's happening to you.
I have
right now.
allergies. Bad.
He's so special. Okay, so special. You can't do
Really,
perfume.
is it that special?
You can't do perfume soaps. You can't do perfume. You can't do hairspray type stuff.
Anyway, so if I was going to do a wraparound mortgage, I could do a wraparound mortgage where my buyer paid me $35,000. Maybe I charge 9% interest, and my seller's charging 5%. So I make a little spread on the $30,000 of 4% interest. Okay?
Little spread. See, a little spread.
That is a wraparound. You can do it. You can stay in the middle. You can collect a little bit of cash flow, but I just want to sell it, be done with it.
There's people
I'm out
that
of here
do.
And my money's in the bank.
We know in our industry there are people that do that for a living, that do wraparound mortgages for a living, and they have spreadsheets upon spreadsheets to keep track of the payments and who owes what when, and they make sure the first mortgage gets paid even when they don't get paid. It's a business all in of itself. It's a very niche part of real estate investing.
Exactly. Exactly. I was reading Darren's comment about a deal. Go to submitaproperty.com and submit that property. Or Larry buys houses.
If the end of this is supposed to say Zillow, whatever it is.
Well, what's going on with you?
Whatever it is, it's got me too.
That's for treating me like you did a minute ago.
No, it's not. I guarantee you it's not. Anyway, if that end of that says that you're basing the 152 on what Zillow says the Zestimate is, you can't go off of that.
The Zestimate means
zilch. Zestimate means zero. Almost any other word other than zebra, that means nothing. So that starts with a Z. Now it says you couldn't find comps. No repairs, no garage, couldn't find comps. You just got to go farther away. There have to be comparables for what you would be able to sell it for. Because why would you want to buy a house not knowing what you could sell it for?
Worst case scenario, if you're brand new, not really sure what you're doing, call up a realtor. Hey, I got a house. I'm thinking about fixing up and selling. What could you sell it for?
Right. And how quick could you sell it?
And give them the address. And how quick could you sell it?
What could you sell it for and how quick could you sell it? And they can tell you. If they know the area, if they know the neighborhood that it's in or whatnot, they'll be able to find some comps to let you know what it's worth. But I wouldn't trust the Zestimate for anything.
There you go. That's good. So, guys, that's the 4 different ways that you can analyze deals to wholesale properties, right? Don't just think it's ARV times 0.7, right? Don't just think it's just rental, based on the cash flow. Don't just think it's wholetailing or it's seller financing, right? So make sure you have all those tools in your toolbox, because the more tools you have in your toolbox, the more deals you can do.
Right.
Very, very important.
Just being able to think outside the box, to know that there are multiple ways to do a deal other than just the 70% of ARV minus, cost. The first way that we showed is very powerful.
Exactly. And Elaine says something about private money structuring for Filthy Rich's model. You can do private money any way you want to. It's private money.
Right.
It's between you and your private money lender. So you can do it however you want to.
We have a course on that too, how to broker, lend, and borrow hard money. The section of that course that you would want to pay attention to would be how to lend the hard money, how to structure it. It would suffice for private money or hard money.
There you go. Mark's on. What's up, Mark? That's good. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. We really, really, really appreciate it. If you want to work with us one-on-one personally, mentoring, then partnering with us, go to larrygoins.com/apply. So thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate it. Give us some feedback. Please share.
And we'll be back next week.
We will, because we'll be here. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.